Hello, I'm Vaughn Clement, and this is a tour of my support website. The reason for this tour is that there have been some questions about how to find information because there are quite a few different options at the top of the screen. So I'm going to give you a short tour and some information about me and the site. I've been doing iOS and apps for Mac, PC, and other options for cloud for 6 years through iOS and more than 35 years total doing application design. Now, the reason I'm explaining these things is that I do get questions about the applications that I design and how long I've been working on them. So that's kind of a synopsis. Uh, this site that you're looking at on has about 21 applications for iOS that are on iTunes currently. There are about another 40 to 50 apps available, and those are mostly custom apps. And what is a custom app? A custom app is something that has a base app that is similar to one of the iOS apps where it's available on iTunes, but it's compiled there. What that means is it cannot be edited. I take those base apps that created the iTunes apps or one of my custom apps, and those can be modified to your requirements. So what that basically means is if you have a need, especially for a business application where you want specific functions and features, those can be added to any base app to meet your requirements. Let's take a look at the first screen, which is the initial post page. And on this page, what we do is kind of explain, it's a picture of me, and using how to use the site. And one of the main things about using this site is there is chat available. Now, chat has some different facets to it, and I'm going to show you that now. There is a message up here explaining how the chat does work, but it's down here in the lower right-hand side of the screen. And if you click on it, what it basically does is explain that you need to put your name in. And the reason you put an email address in there is that if I'm not available, I can then get an email address and answer your questions that you may raise in the message. You can put a phone number if you're in North America, and I will call you back. But if you're on an international location, go ahead and put your Skype address if you have Skype. But if you don't, what you can do is you can use this particular icon to send me an email. You can use this one to comment and get a work request for some reason if you want me to do some work for you. And the last one is where you click on this button here, and what it does is generate either call my computer, call from a phone, where you click here and it allows you to do that from your country. And the other one is a Skype, and this is the one I recommend. What it does is it allows me to receive your call on Skype. And that pretty much works also when you call from an outside of the North America area. If you call from a phone, it will automatically shift over to Skype. Now understand that Skype is a free call over the world for me and you. So if you have questions, you can always get a hold of me on Skype. If you do not receive an answer, I recommend you put in a email type of thing here for a work request and just click it, and it'll allow you to put in your information, and it'll send that information. It is very important to put in your email address, though, when you're doing this, because if you don't put in your email address, I don't know how to get back to you. Okay, let's talk about the site itself. You can click this to remove it. As you travel through the site itself, the first screen is about anything that's on sale at this particular time. There may be some special sales that are running. It's a good idea to check there. And then there are featured apps. The featured app for this particular period is HikerBiker Pro 2, and it explains what's going on with HikerBiker. If you click on this, it'll open up a shopping cart and allow you to actually purchase the item, and these are the prices for the item. Now, some screens and some apps do have a shopping basket where you can go ahead and order the item right off the screen. It goes through PayPal. If you have PayPal. If you do not have PayPal, then you need to contact me direct for custom apps using the support information on the site. As you move down, there are new releases and different applications that I'm highlighting. And in this particular case is a brand new app, CRM 6.0 Pro, which is an amazing app, as you'll find out if you take a look at it. An application like this could sell for roughly $11,000. But my applications are pointed directly at small business, and small business uh, doesn't have the kind of capital to be buying those kind of applications. This particular application, this specific one, is $295. Uh, if you try to get the same equivalent application online, you will spend at least $4,500 for the same kind of application. This is a custom app called Project Drawing Management. And if you click on the line right here, it'll take you to that particular screen. This is a kind of a reduced version of another application where people wanted project drawing capability, and I've created that application recently for that. These will come and go on this screen as far as new apps and new capabilities. This one is for A1 Serviceman version 12, which is a brand new version for the cloud. Mainly, it is extended to work on the cloud. And let's explain about cloud apps. Cloud apps are hosted on a specific server. They can't be put on just any server, but there is a fee on a monthly basis for that server. I do not do that. I have a company that does that. They're called FM Pro Hosts, and what they do is they charge $19.95 a month for one application. And if you're a business person, this is very affordable. Normally they run about $38 and up for the same kind of a thing on other sites, and it's really something you can look into with me, and I can explain exactly what's going on as far as the hosting. And then I also do Mac apps, PC for Windows, all the way from XP onto version 8 of Windows. I do iPad, I do including the Mini and the phone and the iPhone and cloud. All these applications can be either for one or several of these different options as far as the way that this is set up. Mostly if you're doing the cloud, it allows you to have access to all of these devices from the cloud, and they can all reach the cloud in a multi-user type of environment where you can have as many users as you want at one time concurrently. Let's go back up to the top of the screen, and I want to point out something that a lot of people miss, and that is that these are menu options at the top of the screen. And as you slide through them, there are different things that you can see as far as different locations on the site. And if you look at how it highlights the gold thing where it says home page, if you click on that, it actually takes you to the home page. All of these are additional screens that are highlighted at the top. And as you can see, when you go through them, there's some that are just specific to that particular option that you want to look at. Let's go to the home page real quick here, and I'll show you as I'm walking through these different screens what is available on the home screen. Now the home screen itself has, in addition to the home screen, current newsletters. Right now I'm not doing newsletters, but I do have past newsletters, and I'm going to go ahead and show you those. New Year through 2013, there are actually things all the way through 2013. And I haven't done any in 2014 yet, but there are a lot of interesting things that go back in that era. Technology and updates, that's a lot of things about stuff that's happening as far as they're related to my applications. There's a contact us if you just want to put in a app request where you want something to be developed. You can go in there and give me specific information. There's a using remote access. There is an explanation on the screens that a while back in November of last year, 2013, the people at iTunes were hacked. And when they were hacked, after that, subsequently, a few days later, what they did is they took away the ability of one of the things. They did several things, but what they did is they took away the ability to sync applications to iTunes using the iTunes app, which is the one that's normally found on your computer. When they did that, they took away all the developers' ability to sync between iTunes and a desktop PC or Mac. That actually impacted us where my apps that were syncing in the past, where you had a companion app that could sync, would no longer be able to do that. So I came up with a solution where you can use remote access. And there's a number of ways from an iPad. You can go direct to your desktop and actually run the desktop app. if you do not have a cloud solution. So that tells you how that is done, and it's on that tab. There's also a how to use the database. This is very important, where it gives you some pointers about people that use my business applications, which are basically written as a database. And if you have questions about how databases are used, that's a great location on the site to find out about that. And then there's tips about using databases. This is an extension where there are some videos, YouTube videos, that explain some detailed things of after you have purchased one of my apps, or you're trying to do specific tasks related to setting up a thing called FMGO on the iPad to run some of my applications. This gives you detailed videos on how to do that and how to set up those applications to run on your iPad, iPhone, so that you can have access to them on a one user type of an access, or in the case if you have a cloud app, that same application will allow you to multi-user access for that particular application. On most screens, you're going to see this here. If you're from a foreign country and you want everything changed on the screen, you can pick any one of these countries and change all the text on the screen. And also, if you click on the actual physical picture of the country flag, it will also regenerate the site to that particular country. As I can see here, I did put the information about chatting, and you can see over in the corner, if you have been on the site on that page before, it'll pop up a message asking you or telling you, thank you for coming back, where you can just drop over and put a message in there. Looking down through this, I talk a little bit about buying apps on the site, and be aware that there are 23 apps and more than 50 apps listed on this site. And there is also currently a set of all the new videos, and I'm doing YouTube videos I call Video Helps. Most of my recent applications from probably about mid-year last year now don't have user guides anymore. They all have live video on YouTube to explain the operation and functions and features of the application. I am on Skype, and what that means is basically if you have Skype, you can use my vaughn.clement access address to contact me on Skype. One of the best features about Skype is that if you have support questions, I can actually see your screen or show you mine to answer questions of the actual application live online. This is a no cost to you type of a situation. I do not charge for support for any application, including demonstrations where you need to see how an application works. By the way, on some of these icons, like it's listed here, if you click on that icon, it will open up this site and show you several of the newest support videos that I did for some new applications, like the CRM app that I just noted a little while ago. Software projects and management. Basically, what this section does on the home page is explain how you can get assistance on if you have an application that you need to be developed, or you want to use one of my base apps but you need modifications on it. This tells you basically how I do that and how I can work that out for you, including a little bit of blurb here about the support for getting the cloud apps done. And a little bit about Windows 8, still doing things that will run on Windows 8, no problem. And there was a question at one time, do my applications run on Windows and Windows 8? Yes, they do, no problem at all. A little bit of blurb about how you can use both your desktop and also mobile devices with my applications, including the iPad and the Mini and every new application that's coming out. Most recently, what I'm doing also is Android apps. Android takes a little longer to develop, and it's a little bit more tedious to get done, but they are going to be available. In fact, I have one right now I'm going to be publishing very shortly. On this area down here, the iTunes preview sheets. What this is all the items that I have on iTunes. If you view or want to view the sheet that shows the information about the app on iTunes, what this does is it brings up the non-live on Mini type thing. If you click on the icon or click on the icon, it's going to take you to the download or app site information. In other words, if you want to actually get one of these apps, and they're all named there, and you can see that there's several of them, you just click on the basket here and it'll take you right to that particular application. Beyond that, now what we have down here is you can purchase any of these apps, including some that are on iTunes. And I suggest if you're going to buy an iTunes app, come to this page on the support site and see if there are any changes or options that you have. Now what happens is it's a little difficult because there's so many applications to know what each one of them does. Well, this particular area here, if you click on the underlined name of the application, it'll take you to the data sheet for that particular app and explain how it works. The first grouping of these are all iTunes apps, and it shows the current pricing. It tells you if it will work on the cloud. It tells you if you can buy it with PayPal. Yes, you can. So you can buy any iTunes app that's out there on using this particular information here to go get that application. Now, why would that be? Well, in some cases, I have a different version that will work on a thing called FMGo on the iPad, where it allows you to have more utility as far as how it operates on iTunes. And in addition, you do get a companion app that works on your desktop when you purchase one of these iTunes apps. That's a free thing that you could get. You have to request that and follow the instructions on the drop-down menu for how to obtain a companion app. Now at the bottom you'll see that the descriptions are, these are for custom applications, and I'm writing so many custom applications that not all of them are available or shown here. And the reason for that is there are, for example, Equipment Rental has maybe 2 or 3 or 4 different versions at one time where I'm upgrading and making changes to it based on new information from users as to what they feel should be in the application. So as time goes by, those particular applications grow as far as capability. So you always want to check it out. For example, there's an equipment sales app, an equipment rental app, and there's also an equipment management app. There's a version 2.0, which is an older one, but any of these ones that say version 12 or higher, these are all the latest applications that are available with all the new features on them. So if you're looking at the 12 version or 13 or 14, these are all newer type of applications. What you can do, like I said, is you can click on any one of these and it'll take you to that particular application with an explanation. And typically on these, at the bottom of the screen, if you scroll down, it's going to have some options to purchase the item right online from PayPal. Let's go back up to the top of the screen so I can explain some more of the information. Obtain the free companion app. Be aware that when you're asking for a companion app, you had to have already purchased an iTunes app or a custom app as far as something for iTunes, and then you can get a free companion app if you want to, and I can explain that in detail on this screen. Getting support, if you need to get support, you can click on this and there's an actual page where you can request support specifically for me to contact you for reasons of questions if you cannot get directly to me. And then there's a iTunes app policy. This is kind of an interesting sheet. iTunes does change their policies from time to time, and this is mainly about if you bought an iTunes app and there was a issue that you had with it, iTunes is going to demand that you go back to the developer to try to resolve the issue before they would refund anything on an application that you purchased. If you do not follow their guidelines, they will not refund the money for that particular app purchase. So you want to know how to do that, you want to click on this. About current apps on iTunes, let's go ahead and go there. One of the things I want to point out about current apps is that they are continuously changing and growing, and new capabilities are being added a lot of the time. And what happens with applications is that the development tools that I use get new capabilities, and where it makes sense, or I have an app request to change the base app to a new application with new features, I will implement that for one customer, and then what I do is I now open up that particular application for other people to request that particular version if they want that version with those changes. Flexibility is something I always try to provide, where you can get the application you need with the features and functions that you also need. So that's very important. As this page is loading right now, because I'm using this recording, it does slow down the page opening, so I'm going to kind of ad lib a little bit. I'm going to jump over here. First of all, let's get rid of this. On this page, you'll note that there are a number of applications that are the same as the ones that you saw on the home page, where you can pick them from there and view them. But you can also view them from this screen, where you can go down through the different applications. Now, I want to point out that this says User Guide Library. Tap here. If you tap on there, applications that have a user guide on them, as far as the older apps, you will see a listing of those user guides. And those are PDF files where you can either view them on here, or you can download the PDF version of the help to your computer and use them. You cannot download the PDF files to the iPad, so you want to not try to attempt that. You'll see that there are a large number of applications that are available. In fact, there's actually a second page over here with additional applications that have just become available. So those are going to be in there. I could highlight a lot of these different ones, but you have to really actually view the page, go to it, and actually read about it. Now, the second page also has a second user library for the items that are listed here with those user guides on it, or if, in this case, a lot of these have new YouTube videos on them instead of the PDF files. So you'll need to actually view the page, and on those pages you're going to see the actual videos that are available on YouTube from here that are also included on the application itself. What I mean by that is that the application, say this is one of the screens on an application, would have an icon on it where you would click it and it would open up from the application for the screen you're viewing and show you that particular usage for that particular screen, features and whatever are going on within that particular sheet. Okay, about the iTunes apps, and this is kind of important. These applications that are highlighted and have pictures of the different applications, also, this is right off the iTunes screen, so what you're going to see here are the different applications that are on iTunes currently, and they may have additional ones that are added later. Now, in December of 2012, I reduced the prices on these applications, or I should say the 15th. These applications were reduced in price only because I felt that I needed to give people a better opportunity to buy applications. And you can note here, probably the highest price app that I have out there is a $60 app as far as the iTunes are concerned. The reason for that is that, and by the way, these applications would sell if you were doing them by custom from get-go through a developer, would be at least $400 for the cheapest apps and run in the thousands for the other apps. So you're getting a really good return on investment. And what I want to point out is that the reason I do that, I've been doing this for almost 40 years. And I recognize by having so many users, right now currently I have about 4,000 clients, that they cannot afford to spend a lot of money. For example, I had talked to one yesterday that was asking me questions about QuickBooks and how QuickBooks could do or not do what my applications can do. And you have to understand that my applications are custom, so a lot of the things that QuickBooks cannot do and the features that QuickBooks would never have are supported in my applications. So what they are is they're called front-end business applications, meaning that you would use these on the floor, the factory floor, or within your business, and then somebody who, if you needed it, would do the accounting, maybe in QuickBooks or some other accounting program, for the accounting side of the house. A lot of people make the mistake of trying to use an accounting program to run their business, and it just doesn't provide the utility that is required for running a business. And for that reason, you really need to get a custom front-end app like I'm providing. And like it says here, if you need a customized app and to fit your specific needs, look at the apps in the custom app pages and use the current apps at base app as the ones for the new features. Now, these particular comments are not taken lightly by most of my users. They do need specific functionality on their applications, and it's very important to get that. I have recently done a new POS app, for example, where there were so many specific requests for features in that were new, and a lot of new features, that it is the premier POS app on the market today. And that application is available as a custom app. And the reason I do not put prices on some of those, the base app is one price, but almost without a question, I'm going to get special requests to change those applications to fit a specific need for that particular business. So what I do is I quote that particular base app based on the changes that need to be made as to that application. If you are looking at one that is already available, what I can do is show you that base app, and if it fits all your needs and it works for you, then I will give you the reduced base app cost for that particular item. And that would not include any changes on it. Okay, so let's just do a little thing right here. I'm going to click on this just to show you the user guide library as we're going to it. And in the user guide library, it explains basically what particular screens or PDF files are available. And if you click on one, for example, if I go down through them and I want to see that particular thing, like let's go project planning. And what it'll do is it'll wait a second, and then it's going to go ahead and pop up the PDF on the screen. And once it pops it up on the screen, what we're going to do is you can do a save as and save that particular document to your desktop. And that way you get it. Now, there is one application down here, Equipment 2.0, that the PDF is so large that I cannot open it from here. And what I did is I gave you a link to a download site where you can actually download that particular application. Part of the other reason why I went to doing videos like I'm doing here is that the PDF guides were getting so large that people weren't reading them because there was too much information in them. And it became obvious that if I did videos, it was easier for people to learn from those, and also to provide them with the actual pictorials and so forth of the actual things. Now, you saw where that did not show the PDF file, and that's specific to me doing this video at the same time. If you do click on these, you should not have these issues as far as running the PDF files. Now, as far as other types of questions that you may have, probably the most common one that I get is how long does it take to get an application provided to you if it's a custom app? It could be anywhere from, say, a few days, maybe 5 days, to a week or so, depending on the complexity of the application. So it does not take a long time to provide those. And in addition to that, they're not very expensive. On average, they can be maybe $80 to $400. It just depends on how complex and how intricate it is. For example, I had one of my apps, CRM and PM4, where the customer had a Mediterranean dry dock company where he had 4,000 dry docks that he provided support and services to the fleet of ships in the Mediterranean, and needed to schedule all of those ships in on a basis where they also could cover all the work that had to be done as far as repairing and pulling engines and all that kind of stuff. That app was only $400 to that client. And the reason it was that much is that it was very, very difficult to do all the things that he needed to do, but we did them all. And he, I'm sure, is very ecstatic to have an application that would have probably cost him somewhere around $40,000 to get that made. And he also had it with multi-users, so no matter where he went, he could log on from his phone or from his iPad and access that information. If you have any questions or you want a demonstration of any application viewed on this site, just contact me at vclement@gmail.com, or like I said before, you can get support by clicking this link and going in and explaining or scheduling a link, or you can call me at 928-254-9062, and that is in North America. Now, if you have Skype, you can also Skype me, and with Skype, you can get a lot more detail, and I can actually go live and show you the information that you need to know, like getting support and how to get support. This is where you can find me and at what times, and go ahead and send a request in to me using one of those particular ways to contact me. So if you have any more questions, please use those contacts, and I'd be happy to hear from you. Thank you.